guys, so today I want to do the memory book tag because I recently saw it on Wild Book Garden's channel, who I'll link to down below along with the original video, and I just thought it was a really good fun tag. So without further ado, here is my answers to the memory book tag. Question number 1, early years. What is the first book you remember reading by yourself? I think it was Matilda. I can't actually remember. But I think it was Matilda. Either that or George's Marvellous Medicine or The Twits. It was definitely Roald Dahl. I definitely remember it was Roald Dahl, but I can't remember anything further than that. And I think it was one of those 4 because they're the ones we have on our shelves and we haven't gotten rid of any. So it was one of those 4, I'm certain of it. But I can't quite remember because my memory is awful. Question number 2, school. Discuss a book you had to read for school and you have strong memories about. Well, I'm going to say Alice in Wonderland because I had to do that for my A-levels at one point because for some reason they were like, oh yeah, we're going to read Alice in Wonderland, and I was kind of iffy on it because it's not very logical and I'm no good with illogical things, but I was thinking, it'll be fine, it'll be sort of like a crack fanfic because I really like crack fanfic basically, and I hated it. I absolutely despised its guts. Just hated Alice in Wonderland, and I still do. I like Alice in Wonderland retellings, but if you make me read the original, I will kill you because I really don't like it. I hated how illogical it was, and I know it's a kid's book, and I know the cultural significance of Alice in Wonderland, but it wound me up to the point where I would leave the class every day practically ranting about how much I hated it. I absolutely despised Alice in Wonderland. And that hasn't changed. I still hate it. Question number 3, family. Talk about a book you remember reading with your parents. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban always sticks in my mind for one reason, and that reason is my mum's impression of Professor Trelawney, because that made me cry laughing when she was shouting about the Grim. It made me laugh my arse off as a child. I found it absolutely hilarious. It was just the funniest thing, and that's the only thing I remember from reading those books with my mum when I was a kid. I remember nothing else about the plots or anything else, hence why I'm rereading the books now, technically for the first time, because I remember nothing from them from when I was a child. I just remember my mum over the top shouting the Grim like Professor Trelawney, and I will forever be disappointed in the portrayal of Trelawney in the films because she doesn't do it like my mum. It is one of the clearest memories I have from reading with my mum when I was a kid. It was just amazing. Number 4, midnight. Talk about a book you remember staying up late or past midnight to read. I didn't. I'm a huge reader. I've always been a huge reader, but I never stayed up late to read a book. Ever. And I don't know why. I genuinely have no memory of doing that, and I have no inclination to do that now. I don't know. Probably because I was like, okay, I can read this much at this time, and I was sort of okay with just reading that amount of book in that amount of time, and then just moving on and doing something else, then going to bed, waking up and reading it some more. And I'm just fine with that, apparently. I'm a massive reader, but I still don't stay up late to read, because I'm quite happy doing it in the middle of the day. I don't know if that makes me weird, but I just don't stay up late to read. I usually sit on Twitter at like 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock, midnight, 1 a.m. Twitter time. All the time is Twitter time, but sort of late at night is internet time. I'm probably doing this around the wrong way, but it's just what I do. Number 5, holidays. Talk about a bookish memory from the holidays. The Hogfather by Terry Pratchett. Is anybody surprised by that answer at this point? The Hogfather by Terry Pratchett is such a huge part of my holiday tradition. I adore it, and it's been a huge part of my holiday tradition ever since the film came out 10, 11 years ago now, I think it was. Whenever it first aired on Sky One, I watched it because my mum, my aunt and my uncle are huge fans of Terry Pratchett and have been since before I was born. They love the Discworld, so when the TV show came out of the adaptation of The Hogfather, my mum sat me down and watched it with me that Christmas when it aired, because she was saying, look, there's a Grim Reaper in it and there's a badass woman and it's sort of like our world but slightly twisted and really funny. You're going to love this. And I fell in love. I absolutely fell in love with that story of the Hogfather, and it has stuck with me ever since. I love the book, I love the film. It's so accurately done as well that it's practically word for word from the book to the adaptation, which I absolutely adore. And it's now tradition that we watch The Hogfather every single year on Christmas Eve, because it's set on Hogswatch Eve, which is basically Christmas Eve. And it's just a magical story that makes me feel slightly Christmassy, because I usually hate Christmas. Christmas is not my time of year, but The Hogfather just really feels a point in my soul that makes me feel better about Christmas as a whole. It's a huge tradition in my family. We call Christmas Hogswatch quite a lot. I just love it. I absolutely love it. There's nothing else I can say apart from I absolutely love the Hogfather, and there's no other holiday tradition I wish to have apart from now maybe watching the latest Grinch and obviously the Christmasaurus when that comes out. But apart from that, my mainstay sort of holiday tradition that's bookish is watching and reading the Hogfather. Best Christmas book ever. Best holiday book ever. I just love it. I absolutely love it. I could talk about it for hours. Number 6, passion. Talk about a book that helps shape you. And I'm going to say Philip Reeves' Larklight for this, because it just really sparked off my love of reading, I feel like, because I remember reading that book, loving it so much that as soon as I got to the end page and read the end page, I went straight back to the beginning and started reading it again. And I did this 4 or 5 times in like the space of 2 weeks, I think it was, as a kid. And it really, really cemented my love of reading. And I just remember it so well. I really want to reread it soon, but I'm kind of scared that I'm really not going to like it. I don't know. I don't know if my tastes are going to have changed over the last 15 years or so. So I'm quite scared to read it. But I did really love it when I read it. And it's just one of my fondest memories of reading that book. And it inspired that whole area of loving books, I guess. So yeah, I'm going to go with that one, because nothing else has really sort of inspired career paths or anything for me, if I'm completely honest. So I'm going to say Larklight because it inspired my love of reading. Number 7, travel. Talk about a book that you read on vacation that brings up fond memories. And I don't go on holiday that much, if I'm completely honest. We don't really go on holiday. We sort of go to the cinema and we're quite happy with that, quite frankly. The idea of going to Blue Water Shopping Centre is what I count as a big day, or like going up to London, that counts as a big day. So we don't really go on holiday that often, but we did once go to Turkey about 2011, so that's 8 years ago now. And I remember reading the Morganville Vampire series at the time. I brought like 4 or 5 books, and I had about 2 that were Morganville and 3 others, and I didn't like the others, but I really quite liked Morganville. So I read those 2, and then I needed more books. So I ended up downloading another 2 onto my mum's Kindle, despite the fact that we owned them at home, just so I could carry on reading them. Unfortunately, the final book I did read on that holiday did quite disappoint me, and it was very much a filler book, which kind of put me off the series for a very long time, to the point where I've now actually unhauled them because I know I'm not going to read them again. But I do just remember loving Morganville on that holiday and just sort of escaping the really, really horrible heat of Turkey, because we went in the middle of July, which is obviously Turkish summer, which is ridiculous for a vampire like me. So I just remember escaping the heat by reading Morganville, and that was kind of a fond memory of that holiday. Question number 8, Hideaway. Discuss one of your favourite places to read and why it's one of your favourites. I only read in one place, and that place is my sofa, because I just quite like it there. I like sitting on the sofa and not moving all day, so I like the sofa. I don't really move unless I need to get food, so I just sit there all day. I don't read anywhere else, literally. I just sit on that sofa in the sofa crease and don't move. I don't know why it's one of my favourites, it's just one of my favourites. I think because I quite like the front room, so if I do want to put on the TV, it's right there. I don't have to get up because I'm incredibly lazy. I've got all my stuff next to me, so I can just sort of get food when I want to, because I usually bring food in, so I can just sort of sit there for longer. And it's just nice, you know. I'm next to plug sockets, so if I'm reading on my Kindle, I can just plug it back in again. It's just nice. No other reason to it, it's just a nice place to sit. Question number 9, life changes. Discuss a book that helps you with a big life change. And that was Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, because I read Fangirl when I was going into uni for the first time. And it was my first year of uni. I was quite nervous because I don't really handle change well. Change is not my forte. Even though I was so excited to get out of high school, I practically ran out of there screaming with joy. But I was still really scared because obviously it was a new place, it was in a new town, I was going to have to commute every day to get there because I wasn't living there. I didn't know anybody that was going to be there, I had to make new friends, which I'm terrible at. I was just very, very nervous. But I read Fangirl at the same time, which is all about a girl who is going to uni for the first time and she is as socially awkward as me. And it just really, really helped because I felt like Kath was me. I felt like Rainbow Rowell had sort of stalked me for a year or 2 or 3 or my entire life, let's be honest. And then just written a book about me, just set in America, which just really helped, you know. It was kind of like I was reading my own story, just without as much success in the love life area or success in general. But it just helped because I could read this and I was going, that is me. Like, I would be scared to go down to the food hall if I was living there, and I didn't know where to sit or what to do with anything, and I was just really scared all the time for that first year. So it was just really nice to read about someone who had the same sort of social anxiety issues as me and was as socially awkward as me, going to uni for the first time and how they dealt with it, and it was just really comforting and really helped me with going to uni for the first time. Like, my uni experience wasn't everything I wanted, but in the end I did pass, which was enough, and I got through it alive, so I'm gonna count that as a win, basically. And I think Fangirl really helped with that. I think it really helped. Question number 10, stories. Discuss 3 books that imprinted on your soul or impacted your life in a few ways. So, first one, Skullduggery Repleasant. Can't, thank that one enough. It really sort of helped me transition from middle grade into YA, I guess, in quite a lot of ways, and it was just such a fun series that I'm still reading now because I sort of went off reading through some of my teenage years, and so I never actually finished Skullduggery. I mean, I still won't finish Skullduggery, it's an ongoing series, but I'm sort of playing catch up now, and it just really sort of imprinted on my soul and imprinted my love of fantasy books in me and badass female characters and stuff, because I absolutely fell in love with Valkyrie to the point that when we had to do a dress up day where we had to dress up as a book character, I turned up dressed as Valkyrie Kane because I loved her so much. So that book just really imprinted on me as a book and as a series, and I still love it to this day. I reference it constantly on this channel. I absolutely love it. Next would be the Failure to Communicate series, because even though I've only read Failure to Communicate and I haven't read the prequel or the sequel yet, that is on my list for the next couple of months. I adored this series last year. It was absolutely beautiful to me because, first of all, it gave me a love of sci-fi books. I'd always loved sci-fi movies, but I'd never really read sci-fi books apart from, well, Larklight and a couple of others. But this one really sort of made me go, sci-fi is awesome in books, and I loved that to start with. And secondly, it gave me autism representation that represented me in a way I hadn't seen before. Obviously, I'd read Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime and watched the stage play, which if you ever get the chance to see, definitely see. It's amazing. But the book Curious Incident didn't give me as much sort of representation that was as accurate to me personally, like Failure to Communicate. Failure to Communicate was about an autistic girl to start with, and the way she sort of stims and how she calms herself down and things like that was just totally me, and it impacted my soul in such a way that it made me feel seen for the first time in literature like I hadn't ever felt before. Like, obviously I felt seen with Fangirl, but with my Asperger's, it felt for the first time like I was being seen and represented properly. Like, before I'd always just clung to characters like Brennan from Bones and people like that who were possibly autistic. They were definitely autistic coded, but they were never said physically to be autistic. So to see a character who was female and accurate to me in a book was just the most mind-blowing thing that I could never get over. It's just, it blew my mind, and to this day I am still having my mind blown by the fact that there's a book series out there where the characters like me, and it's accurate and well researched and own voices, if I remember rightly. It was just unbelievably beautiful, and it set off my love of sci-fi as well, which is just amazing. And finally, I have to talk about The Quiet Girl in a Noisy World, which is a graphic novel, and I read this last year and absolutely loved it. It just, again, represented me and my introverted ways so well. I just found every mini comic in there I was relating to, constantly going, I do that, I feel like that, I feel like that, that's my sort of coping mechanisms, that's what I feel comfortable with. And again, I just felt seen in a graphic novel in a way I never really felt before, because all the other graphic novels I had ever read were stuff like I Hate Fairyland and Marvel comics, so I was used to reading about super people and superhuman beings and incredibly violent girls in Fairyland, which is obviously epic, but I didn't feel seen in any of those comics until I read Quiet Girl, and then I was suddenly like, that's me. People understand me because they're like me, and I've never felt like people are like me before, so to see that other people share sort of similar ideas to me with like social interaction and stuff like that, it was just groundbreaking to me, quite frankly. It just absolutely broke the ground and made me love graphic novels even more than I thought I could. It's just, I could talk about that book all day. I could talk about all of those books all day if I wanted to. They're just so impactful in my life and shaped me in ways that I can't even describe right now. I just absolutely love them. There's no other way to say it apart from I absolutely love them. And that is the end of the question. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below with what your answers would be and what books shaped you and what books had a great big impact on you. I'll also leave a link down below to all of my social media if you want to check it out. And if you want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here. And over here will be the link to my previous video. But until next time, guys, bye.